All right, hi everybody, it's Alex. I have put together a nice slow flow for you today to really get into your hips, stretch out your low back, we'll open our shoulders a bit and our heart. So it's pretty well rounded, but it's a nice slow flow. So if you are at home, which I would assume everyone is, stay in something comfortable. You can wear anything you want. You don't need to be wearing workout clothes. Sweatpants and sweatshirts are perfectly comfortable. I'm keeping my slippers on, but I suggest you pause this video and grab a prop. And by props, I mean if you don't have like a traditional yoga bolster, like I have a couple back there, grab a pillow or two. So I grabbed one giant pillow, and I also grabbed a regular size pillow. They're just gonna help bring the ground up to you and allow you to get deeper in some of the postures that we hold. So pause the video if you, I think that's the only thing you should need. If you have a yoga block or a set of books, you may want those handy. Otherwise, I think some pillows will do. So without further ado, pause the video and then let's get started. So we're gonna begin in Sukhasana, which is just a comfortable seated position. So instead of sitting like Indian style, which is, we don't really say anymore, take your right foot or one of your feet and put it down on the ground in front of you. So right away you'll be able to tell if your hips are talking to you, if one's a little different than the other. Sit up nice and tall here. Bring your palms to your knees. Tuck your chin in just slightly. Imagine yourself, the crown of your head reaching up a little bit higher. Shut down your eyes and just take a few moments to breathe. Don't forget about your belly. Make sure it's tight. Keep your back safe. Now slowly begin to crawl your fingertips forward. This knee is going to want to come up. What's really important is that your hips both stay glued to the ground. So the second your right hip or whatever foot you have in front begins to lift, you've gone too far. So stay here. Whatever foot's in front, you'll feel a nice stretch in the side of that hip. If you can come down to your forearms. The goal of this practice is to be gentle. I know especially for my CrossFit athletes out there, our intensity is like go, 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 and I struggle with that too. However, today I really, really encourage you, when you find a stretch, don't push it to the limit. Just take it nice and easy and know that that will go so much farther in the long run. The side of my right hip is often really tight, actually both hips, quite honestly. I think my psoas is all out of whack. But this stretch, a simple seated position with one foot in front of the other, and then a forward fold, often gets into that spot really nicely. So sit up nice and tall. You're gonna take your left hand, whichever foot's in front, opposite. Take a nice lateral stretch here. Reach up and over. You should feel it all along your side body. If you've been doing all the plank and ab work, planks and ab work should feel really good. Again, you don't want to dump forward. Make sure your heart is open. Gaze up towards your fingertips if you can. Inhale back to center. I'll take that on the other side, so extend your legs, kick them out a little. Now my left foot's in forward, so I'm going to be getting this into my left hip. So sit up nice and tall. Take a full breath. Just noticing the difference in this side already. As you exhale, slowly begin to walk forward. It's nice on a carpet because you can kind of let it guide you. I immediately feel a really, really big stretch going this low into my left. I think it's my left glute. If you're up here, wherever you feel the stretch is where you want to stop. Gently begin to walk yourself up. We're just getting warmed up a little before we start holding postures for a while. Now you'll go on the opposite side, so my right hand's gonna come down. You can stay nice and lifted, or if you can, go down to your arm. Either way, again, you wanna lift up, Stay strong in that side body. And don't dump forward. You want your heart open here. Keep your left hip, both of your hips or sit bones glued onto the ground. You certainly do not need a yoga mat for this practice. So let's make our way into a tabletop position. We'll warm up our spine. I'm going to kick off my slippers for a second. So in your tabletop, you want your shoulders stacked directly over your wrist, your hips over your knees, and untuck your toes. So you want to be on the tops of your toes. I'll get those out of the way. Clip your belly button up and in. Stay nice and tight in your core. And gaze just in front of you. Honor the length of your spine. Extend your right leg out long. My pillows are in the way. Reach it out over to the side. So you want it in line with your hip if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Drop down to the side of your foot so you're resting on the ground. Your right hand's gonna come right under your nose. Inhale, extend your left arm up. Breathe. And exhale, thread the needle, take it through. You can play around with this top hand. Maybe reach your toes if you're super flexible. We'll get into your low back and your hamstring. Otherwise, just open up your back. Release some stress in your shoulder. Slowly come back. Make your right hand right under your nose and inhale, extend up again. Exhale, center. So now this is one of my favorite stretches. Take this foot off around to the other side. Stay strong, so push the ground away, but gaze at your right toes. To feel this all along your right ribs, down into your hip. Especially if your core and hips are tight. A really simple and effective stretch. Come back to center. All right, let's take a couple cat-cows to wash that out. Warm up our spine. Inhale, cow pose. Press into your hands. Imagine the heels of your hands are digging towards your knees. Imagine you're pushing your heart forward. Exhale, cat pose. Dome out your spine. Press the ground away. Tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale, drop your belly. Create a bowl shape with your back. Glide your shoulder blades down and away from your ears. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, drop your belly. Keep it tight. Don't lose engagement. Exhale, starting with your pelvis, tuck up and in, press the ground away. Back to tabletop. We'll take that on the other side. So this time your left leg is going to extend long and you're going to sweep it out in line with your hip. Your left palm comes under your nose. Inhale, extend up. And exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, gently unwind, reopen up, and come back to a neutral tabletop. So from here, your left leg sweeps around the opposite side. Press the ground away, stay strong in your shoulders. And look over your shoulder towards your left heel. That's a very intense stretch for me. If not, then your hips must be in good shape. Come back to center. All right, we'll take a quick downward facing dog. So curl your toes under, hike your hips up high. Take a few moments in down dog to pedal out your feet. Do anything you need to the back sides of your whole back side of your body. My calves are often tight, so I find generously bending into one knee and straightening the other leg gets me a nice stretch in the back of my calf. Also, this deep bend, if I take my knee and bring it in and across, that's pretty effective also. Inhale, roll forward to a plank. Work to stack your heels right over the tops of your feet. We'll take one up dog. So lower down halfway, curl your toes, inhale, up dog. Slide your shoulder blades down your back. Imagine you're pressing your heart through and keep your thighs lifted off the ground. Big stretch across your hips, your heart to your chest. Exhale, curl your toes back to downward facing dog. All right. Take a seat, come back down. Our first pose that we're going to take is, let's do a wide-legged forward fold. So take your feet out as long as you need to. This is a perfect time for those pillows. Wide-legged forward fold. So I'm going to take my pillows right in front of me. So your knee might be here, you might be more flexible. What's important is that your hips stay grounded. You want your pelvis to tuck slightly so that you can hinge. That often means lifting your pelvis, something up. So you may even want to sit on a pillow here to help you get that rotation so that you can really fold. I'll sit on one and I'll put one long in front of me. So flex your toes up towards your face. Again, stay strong in your belly. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And exhale, slowly begin to fold forward. We're gonna hold this for 2 full minutes. So the more support you have, the better. I'm also gonna take this bolster, put it under, and then allow myself to completely relax. Stay firm, breathe into your hamstrings, close your eyes, and just enjoy this stretch. Your head is facing one way, maybe face it the other. If you're feeling a lot of stress and tension in your hamstrings, back off a little. Lessen your stance, go a little bit more narrow. Know that it does not have to be extreme to be effective. It's more effective when it's less extreme. Wherever you are, you should be able to breathe fully and deeply. Slowly begin to make your way up. This is a great pose whenever your low back and your hamstrings are really tight. Take as many pillows as you can, make a shelf for yourself, and just hold it for whatever your body can endure. Feels great. All right, next up, we are gonna go, you can take your props off to the side. If you have something underneath your seat, you can keep that there. Take your left leg and hug it in. So you're gonna bend it in. And you can keep your right leg out in front of you. It doesn't have to be so wide. You can bring it in a touch. Flex your toes towards your face. Again, sit up nice and tall. Inhale. Rotate your chest towards your extended toes. reach up and over. So you want your left hand to reach the outside of your right foot. This is gonna give you a really strong stretch in the right side of your back, but you wanna go nose to toes, not nose to knees. So what's important here is lengthen your spine. If you can only go this far, that's okay. Or if you're up here and you already feel it in your hamstring, honor your body and where you are. With more flexibility, feel free to gently begin to fold over. We're gonna hold this side for 1 minute. Gently begin to push yourself up. Lock your hands. Take it nice and gentle. I actually felt it more in my hamstring today for the first time in a long time. Now your left hand is going to come back towards your left hip. We're going to send our hips up to the sky to open across. We fold it over, so let's open. So on an inhale, dig into your heel. Lift your hips. Send your hand behind you. Exhale, come back around. Ooh. All right, let's take that all on the other side. So your right leg will come into your left. I think you're opposite me, but luckily here it's okay. So flex your toes, inhale, extend tall. And exhale, dial your ribs towards your toes and reach up and over. Notice how this side may be very different. Oh, there's my low back. We're gonna hold this for a full minute, so begin to find your edge where you can breathe completely and then soften your eyes and just take this next minute to relax. Then if your right hip is not connected, you've gone way too far. So the second both hips can't stay on the ground, that's a really good sign for your body telling you, stop here. Slowly walk your hands back up. Take that counter stretch. So your right hand is gonna come to your hip. I'll shift my pillow out of the way here. Plant it on the inhale, sweep up, open, send your left hip high as you can. And exhale, come back to center. All right, we're gonna take a runner's lunge variation because I would assume that a lot of us have been trying to run and our hips are super duper tight. So let's make your way to a runner's lunge. We can do our left foot first because that's going to be easier for me, so it doesn't really matter, but either way, get into a low lunge where your foot is on the outside of both hands. So both of your hands are on the inside of your bent knee. You always want your knee over your ankle, no matter what, for proper alignment. So I know sometimes we put it forward to get into our ankles, but that's not really the point here. So walk your knee back if that feels good. I find it opens up this side of my hip while I'm stretching that one also. Uncurl your toes and just find some comfort here. If this is plenty for you, please stay with your hands lifted. If you are able, you can begin to lower down. If this feels good and your hips are really tight, then hold this. You'll benefit from more time here. If you are feeling pretty good or want more of a quad stretch, you're gonna take your right elbow, forearm, you're gonna put it parallel to the top of your space. If you would imagine there's a mat there. Your two peace fingers and thumb, wrap them around your big toe. Kick your foot back, and on an inhale, you're gonna reach for your back foot. Whew. If you can't reach your foot, you can always pause the video, go grab a belt to use as a strap, or if you have a band from the gym, that would also work really well here too. Again, if you can't breathe completely, you've gone too far and this stretch is not for you today. Slowly let go of your back foot. Take a few more breaths in this runner's lunge. Make sure you're not holding in your neck. Often we crank here, so let it go. Shake it out. I sometimes make fists with my hands. Or if you have a block or those books I talked about earlier, it'd be great to bring the ground up to you for you to rest down. Slowly come up. We'll take the other side. Maybe take a cat-cow in between if you feel good. Your right foot's gonna come up. Your left foot extends long. Again, coming to the top of your foot. I like pillows everywhere. Both hands on the inside of your foot. Check in that you're stacked. Stay lifted for a moment and just breathe. You can lower down onto your left elbow. So take your forearm parallel, take your peace fingers and big thumb, wrap it around your big toe, open your chest towards your knees, reach for your back foot. Whew. You want to stay strong and long in your spine. So imagine a long line from your knee to the tip of your head. I barely need to grab my toe to feel anything. See if you can keep your front foot firmly grounded down. Slowly release, come back to runner's lunge. Come back to your hands slowly and deliberately. You open your heart a little. Make your way on to your seats. All right. Let's take a seat. What is this called? Paschimottanasana, or forward fold. What is the name of it? I can't think. All right, so this is a great place for your pillows. We're gonna hold this for about 1.5 minutes. So take whatever you need to out from your sit bones so that you can sit tall. Again, great place for a pillow under your bottom. This is where the pillows really come in handy. So on an inhale, you wanna extend up tall. Clip your belly button in. Exhale. You can bend your knees, slide your hands underneath them. It'll really get into your low back. But you just wanna fold over. If you want to get more into your hamstrings here, feel free to grab onto anything accessible. Just melt. Inhale and gently begin to come back up. We'll take pigeon pose next. Fan favorite for everybody with tight hips, even when your hips are not tight. So I really like to start in it from downward facing dog. Move all my junk here. So find a downward facing dog. We'll take the right side first. Move your pillows off to the top. Now kick your right leg up high for a 3-legged down dog. Exhale, bring your knee up by your wrist and flatten your shin on your mat. So it's okay if it's at a really big diagonal, mine always is. But you wanna prop up on your fingertips, so kind of tent out your fingers, sit up tall, gaze over your right shoulder, and make sure that your back leg is stacked. You want your ankle, your knee, and your hips in one long line. I always like to walk back a little bit more. You want pressure on both hips. Your right hip is gonna wanna lift, so you wanna dial in so that both hips can come down evenly. Now that we have this pretty intense angle here, this is where I like to put my props, right there. Then I can lower myself down and just truly spend some good quality time in pigeon. We're gonna be here for 2 minutes, so close your eyes and get comfy. Send your breath into your right hip. Notice if you're clenching in your shoulders or your jaw. See if you can soften everything down. Begin to bring some purpose to your fingers. Slowly open your eyes and walk yourself up. Take your pillows off to the other side. Take a three-legged down dog. Maybe drop your hip off. Look under your armpit. Open up your hips, send fresh blood flow. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. We'll take the left side next. So your left leg kicks up high. And exhale, pull it through. Again, tent out your fingers. Dial your chest forward. Gaze over your left shoulder. Once your back leg is ready to go, keep both hips even weight in them. And then, if you want to take your pillows on this side, begin to put your pigeon to rest. Make sure you're super duper comfortable and you can completely melt into this pose. If your left hip's lifted, see if you can dial it back down. Notice the differences between sides. Soften all the tissue around your eyes. Let your shoulders melt into your pillow. Breathe deeply into your left hip. Got about another 40 seconds. Begin to open your eyes. Take your palms back under your shoulders. Move your props out of the way. Inhale, three-legged down dog kick. Open up. Gaze under your left armpit. Maybe take some hip circles. Extend your leg, whatever feels good here. And exhale, down dog. We'll take one full round of breath in down dog. Exhale, see if you can melt your chest closer to your thighs. Come on down to your knees. All right, make your way onto your back. It might be nice to have a pillow handy here too. Maybe not. I'm gonna drop mine off to the side. Take your right knee in and hug it into your chest. I often feel a really nice hip stretch here. See if you can hook your knee and your elbow. Begin to take your knee off over towards your ribs. So you want to extend out. This is called half wind removing pose. You want to feel a slight little pinch sensation, but nothing that's fiery or makes you want to back off. Just enough that you know what you're doing is good for your body. Now on an exhale, so you're gonna lift your hips up, take them about 2 inches over so that your hips can be squared. Then you're gonna supine twist, drop your knee. This is where you can take a pillow. I'll use my bolster because it's here to bring the ground up. You can cactus out your arms if you can. You can tee them out either way. You can keep your neck neutral. Or you can gaze over your right shoulder for a full spinal twist. The goal is to keep both shoulders on the ground. Soften in your glutes. Breathe up and down the length of your spine. Wherever you feel any tension or tightness, send your breath there. Slowly begin to unwind. Bring both hips back down. Hug your right knee in. Bring your left one up. Swap them out. So your right leg extends long. Breathe into your left hip. Hug it up towards your chest. You can begin just to bring it over with your hand or make that elbow to knee connection. Begin to open up your knee. Bring it out towards your ribs. When you're ready, lift up your hips about 2 inches that way so they're stacked. Take your knee, drop it over to this side. Again, if you want to use a prop, a pillow, to support your knee so that it's not just dangling, you'll get a much more effective stretch. Keep your gaze neutral or gaze to your left. Slowly begin to unwind. Hug both knees in. Rock side to side. Massage out your low back. Plant your feet down. We'll set up for bridge. So your heels you should be able to touch them with your fingertips. On an inhale, lift your hips up. If you want to take a bind here, snuggle your shoulders underneath your chest. Reach for opposite hands. Softly lift your hips up toward the ground. Create space from your chin and your chest to lengthen through the back of your neck. Press down through both feet evenly. And breathe. See if you can soften your glutes. Which currently is impossible for me, but that's the goal. It's also nice to use your hands here kind of as a shelf. Makes your hips have to do less work, but you still get the opening you're looking for. Slowly lower down one vertebrae of your spine at a time. Take the soles of your feet. Oh, let's take happy baby. So hug your knees into your chest. The first step is here. So your tailbone, instead of it being lifted, you want it massaged down. You can take your hands, grab your wrists, kind of hug your knees up towards your shoulders. If you're good there and you want to move on, go ahead and reach for the tops of your feet, the outsides of them. Again, really important here to rock your tailbone down so your whole spine is connected. You can gently tug on the sides of your feet to help gravity bring your knees closer into your armpits. Might be nice to rock side to side here too, or you can stay stable and in neutral. Your choice. Imagine you're stomping the sky with your feet, so you want them flexed. Slowly release that down, knock your knees in, so keep your feet wide and bring your knees together like so. Press your low back into your mat. Slowly roll over to one side. Make your way back up to a comfortable seat. You can sit any way you want. We'll end with a twist if you want. If you're feeling nice and relaxed and you want to go into Shavasana, take your pillow and put it under your knees. What would look like this. As you lay down, it kind of just removes that space under your knees and allows you to relax. Or if you're interested in ending this posture, this practice in child's pose, take your knees wide, your pillow or two right in between your thighs, and lower down and relax there. It's a really nice supported child's pose, which will slowly and deeply open up your hips where you can hold the pose for upwards of like 5-6 minutes if you can. So both of those are great places to end so you're ready to move on with your day. Slowly sit up nice and tall. Find Sukhasana or easy seat. We'll end with a twist. Inhale, reach your arms up high overhead. Exhale, twist over to the left. So your right hand comes to your knee. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. And on an exhale, gently gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist the opposite way. And inhale, come back to center. Thank you guys for spending some time taking care of your bodies. It will go a long way. This practice is great for morning, noon, or night. All right, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat your broccoli.